Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Elise Stefanik snaps at this woke reporter for a low blow against Trump that was clearly undeserved.
You talk about moral clarity. I want to ask you about something that former President Trump recently said. He referred to migrants as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country. This is language that the Biden campaign, others, says, quote, is parroting Adolf Hitler. Are you comfortable with former President Trump's comments?
Well, yet again, we have the media, which is so biased, which is reiterating whatever the talking points the Biden campaign is giving.
I'm giving you the opportunity to respond. I'm just giving you the opportunity to respond.
Our border crisis is poisoning Americans through fentanyl. It is poisoning people, including in my district, who are dying from overdoses of fentanyl. And you know why? Because of Joe Biden's wide open border, that executive actions he took on day one. So yes, I stand by President Trump. And President Trump also has he has the strongest record when it comes to supporting the Jewish people and supporting the state of Israel, whether you look at the historic Abraham Accords or whether you look at the ability for Jewish students to sue and stand up for equal treatment at schools under the Title VI executive order that President Trump put into place, not Joe Biden.
And again, I just am allowing you to respond to what has been said, because you are one of former President Trump's staunchest defenders. What do you say to your critics who've argued that you're holding the presidents of these universities to a higher standard than former President Trump?
These university presidents answered the question, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your university's code of conduct? They said it depends on the context, and even in the case of the Penn president, they said it would have to take a step towards conduct. Though that testimony speaks for itself, it was morally bankrupt. It was viewed by over 1 billion people in less than a week. And when you are the president of these universities, you need to show moral leadership as well as academic leadership, and they have absolutely failed. And what was interesting, Kristen, is they did not even realize in the moment. What you can't see in that hearing in the video is there were Jewish students from each of those schools. And from our vantage point where I was seated, they were physically shaken by those answers. So they're unfit to be those presidents, and these schools need to do a lot of soul searching to make sure that they have morally fit leaders as university presidents, which is why our investigation is important.
And you've talked about, again, just on this issue of moral clarity, are you applying the same standards to your own party?
Absolutely. House Republicans stand strongly when it comes to condemning anti-Semitism. And let's be clear, Kristen, over 100 Democrats in the House voted against condemning anti-Semitism, whereas it got universal support among House Republicans.
Somebody please get this queen a crown. Elise Stefanik isn't just a home run hitter here. She isn't just batting in the cleanup position. This is the RBI leader on this ball team. What a whole bunch of wins posted one after the other. This is how you handle yourself on mainstream media outlets. And for instance, the whole mantra of MSNBC is just to drag conservatives through the mud as much as they possibly can. How do you combat this? You either, one, just don't ever go on these programs, don't ever give them the time of day, and hopefully they'll just isolate themselves until eventually they just collapse. That's my prayer, that these networks end up just collapsing, and that the future is on Twitter and YouTube currently. I know I'm shooting my own horn here, but I hope that's the future of the mainstream media, that you get it personalized in a way that you are going to enjoy and that you understand, instead of being proselytized by these people who simply push propaganda on you day in and day out. Hey y'all, as we know, you don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? So that's why I'm partnering over with my friends at Colonial Metals Group, who will help diversify your portfolio. And what they'll do is they'll set up for you a self-directed IRA account. You'll have direct access to your assets. You'll be able to see what all's going on, and it doesn't matter what the stock market does or what often happens, what the government does. Your assets will be protected. So let the team of experts over at Colonial Metals Group help secure your account and your family's future today. There's a link in the description below. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like that, there's a 1-800 number you can call. And most importantly, though, is the kicker. They'll throw in a safe and possibly up to $10,000 in US silver to help you get things started. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. And one of the best antidotes to that is exactly what Elise Stefanik is doing. I can't do it as well as she does. Right? I can't post win after win after win like this. I'm not as good as she is, clearly. And that's how you handle yourself when you are going up against the MSNBC. And they want to talk about just Trump's mean tweets, you know? They want to remind you that over and over and over again. Okay, two can play at that game. How about the vile rhetoric that has come out of Joe Biden? How about all the times when he's asked about his son Hunter and how angry he gets, how he snaps at people? And he becomes a completely different person when you remind him that, hey, by the way, Mr. Biden, Mr. President, why did your son launder money through Ukraine, Romania, China, and other nations? How much money have you received? Biden snaps at you the moment that happens. Why? You hit him where it hurts. And he drops his veneer of being nice old Uncle Joe at a drop of a hat whenever you cross one of those lines. So Trump's not alone when he does this. Trump might go on rants. I do not care. I do not care. I don't care that Donald Trump goes on these weird rants, talks about weird things, and does it all in all caps. I do not care. Because I've seen what's on the other side of the abyss. It's chaos incarnate. And it's destroying our country. The Democrats have embraced chaos. And when you sow discord like that amongst your own family, you will reap the whirlwind. That is terrible for the fate of a country. And that is exactly what the Democrats, for some reason, think is the moral thing. And so they get their panties in a wad, all because Trump's mean tweets, instead of thinking, he's actually protected Jewish people. He's holding our education centers accountable. He's made a better economy. Oh, his economic opportunity zones? Those worked. What about all the judges that he appointed thanks to him working with Mitch McConnell? What about his tax cut solution thanks to Paul Ryan? Which, by the way, it's okay to thank Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan for doing good things. For the same reason that we can praise Trump. It is okay to help out our own side. All right, remember, Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill about any other Republican, that is something we need to relearn again. Because we are a party fracturing ourselves over these ridiculous lines that we've drawn in an attempt to win the presidency. You can't do that when you're divided. You can when you are united. And even though Trump might seem mean, he might say horrible things, he might say ridiculous things, he uses rhetoric as a tool and a bargaining chip. And it worked on the national stage and the international stage. So much so that Joe Biden has actually copied a lot and continued a lot of his policies. Because it turns out Republicans are actually pretty good when it comes to foreign policy. And that's what happens when you're just, a logical person and not a chaotic, irrational person. Like, this host on MSNBC, who cares more about rhetoric than she does results. That's what the mainstream media wants to push. Because they're so afraid that the rich white liberals that they cater to might one day actually go into their little libraries and start reading and start thinking. Because the moment they start thinking, they might consider, Democrats are messed up. And they are pushing garbage. And the people who have been telling me what I thought was the truth, turns out that they've been lying the whole time. The moment you stop and think, you are opening yourself to a whole new world, and the mainstream media hates that. And that's why they wanted to silence Elise Stefanik. They hated the fact that she came on and posted all of Trump's wins, and it nearly broke this moderator. Hopefully, she's in recovery. And maybe one day she'll realize that she works for dirty smear merchants. There's always hope. And that's what I have for the 2024 election, y'all. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.